It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. A man is recovering in hospital after he was allegedly threatened by another man wielding a chainsaw at Islington. Police say the pair had been out drinking and returned home at about 1:45 this morning and became involved in a scuffle. It's alleged one of the men picked up a chainsaw which wasn't operating and began threatening the victim. He suffered lacerations when he kicked at the machine, with his leg getting caught up in the chain. Police expect to lay charges against a 28-year-old man over the incident. A fire which destroyed a house at Birmingham Gardens last night is being treated as suspicious. Fire crews from 3 stations arrived at the weatherboard home on Sandgate Road at about 10 p.m, taking 20 minutes to put out the flames. An elderly female resident was taken to hospital as a precaution, suffering shock and chest pains. At crime scene police are looking into what sparked the blaze. A neighbour says she did all she could to save a baby boy at New Lambton as the man accused of his murder faced court. 28-year-old Jai Smith appeared outside the woman's house with the lifeless child in his arms, pleading for help. The woman has told NBN News she rang 000 and performed CPR until paramedics arrived, saying the incident has had a profound effect on her.
I'm devastated. I'm not sleeping much. I still see his little face there on the floor.
Jai Smith, who's the boyfriend of the little boy's mother, has been refused bail, with the matter adjourned for mention in Newcastle local court in May. 3 long-awaited Hunter Road and rail projects have moved up the priority list for the federal government. Infrastructure Australia wants the M1 extension to Raymond Terrace fast-tracked to be completed within 5 years and a faster rail link to Sydney within 15 years. The group also wants upgrades to the New England Highway at Singleton and Muswellbrook done within 10 years. Researchers from the University of Newcastle want commercial and recreational fishermen to be aware of the impacts of catch and release fishing. A study of sharks pulled from the water and then released shows all sharks were able to swim away, but those who spent too much time on deck became paralysed after just 30 seconds of swimming. Fishermen are being warned a shark's ability to swim away isn't an indicator of its health, and they should be released as soon as humanly possible. Marine ecologist Dr. Vincent Brault says 2 groups of sharks were studied, one exposed to catch and release conditions and the second released immediately.
And then we followed these sharks with the ROV in their natural habitat in Tasmania to see what their behavior was over time. And the behavior were so drastically different between the 2 treatments that it was quite clear that exposing the sharks for any length of time had some significant impacts on their well-being.
Some welcome returns and an important first will be celebrated at this year's Hunter Valley Steamfest. The 3265 and 3526 locomotives will return from a much-needed overhaul to lead the event's popular journeys, including the annual Great Train Race against a Tiger Moth airplane. Maitland City Council Events Coordinator Adam Franks says visitors will also be able to take a particularly special trip this year.
For the first time this year, we'll actually be bringing a steam locomotive from Maitland into the new Newcastle interchange, which will be the first time there's been a steam locomotive in there, which is really exciting for the Steamfest program.
2NURFM Sport.
The Newcastle Jets have been dealt more bad news on the eve of tonight's clash with Melbourne City, with news versatile player Jason Hoffman is out for the season through injury. The news comes at the worst possible time for the club, with player depth needed to deal with the Jets' hectic schedule across both the A-League and Asian Champions League. Assistant coach Clayton Zane says the team is coping fine with the news, with coaching staff having a decent idea of who will make up the team for tonight's game.
Yeah, I think we did some testing on the boys this morning. We need to see how some of the people, we've got someone such as Nikolai Topper-Stanley who probably needs to be assessed post-training. So the final decision on who will actually start and what the bench will look like is not confirmed, although we have a good idea of what it will be.
Belmont local Nick Flanagan is leading the Hunter contingent's charge at the Super 6 golf tournament in Perth, with the 34-year-old sitting in 5th place overnight. Flanagan shot a solid opening round which included 6 birdies yesterday, allowing him to sit 3 strokes off the pace when play resumes in a few hours. Flanagan's fellow Hunter golfers did not fare so well, with Charlestown's James Nitties the next best contender in 16th. And Lake Macquarie Olympian Nathan Outridge is among the favourites to take out the inaugural Sail GP event on Sydney Harbour this weekend. And the winning numbers in Powerball are 3, 23, 10, 21, 6, 34 and 11, and the Powerball number is 5. 2NURFM News Time, 25 to 9.